The clips you are about to see are from a video that has long since been in development for quite some time. But BC's stubborn, so he wanted to try something new. Enjoy!
Hey, this is Uncle Crow Bronwyn. And I want to tell all of you, stay nerdy and get your geek on. Yeah.
What's up, guys? BC coming back at you guys with another toy review, and today we are going to be taking a look at the ZAP Zords. The ZAP Megazord and the ZAP Dragon Zord specifically. Now, there's a reason why I'm doing it this way, because the shot I originally planned was not going to work. So, this is clearly just the best I can do for right now. So, as you can see, we're going to go look at the boxes real quick. And I might just go ahead and keep these in the back, because why not? So, yeah. As per usual, we're going to take a look at the figures, the accessories. I might go a little out of order with this, because, let's face it, there's a lot I got to cover here. So, with that stated, I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the bulk of what the Megazord comes with. And I'm going to preface this real quick. I do know these come with the little 1/144 scale Ranger figurines. I don't know where they are, and to be honest, I don't care enough. So, much like what the King of Wakanda, I don't care. So, we're just gonna go ahead and get right on into it. So, with that said, let's go ahead and start with the Megazord's accessories. So first things first, this absolutely gorgeous power sword. Completely chrome silver, chrome gold, a black handle, which does rub off when it's in the hand of the Megazord. I knew that going in. I don't care. So, yeah, there we go. The power sword, for one. And a pair of these splayed open hands. I like these a lot. Entirely because of the fact that it actually gives you some level of a display option. So yeah, I like this a lot. So first things first, we're starting with the Mastodon. And as you can see, it's literally just a little clump of black plastic that vaguely looks like an elephant from prehistoric times. Yeah, there's really not much else to really say about this other than, well, each one of these figures has a gimmick to them where you get in here and you open this up. Come on, get in there, get in there, finger, get in there. There we go. And as you can see, there is a little Black Ranger in there, so they all have pilot seat functionality. So there we go. That's the Mastodon. The Pterodactyl Zord is literally just it's a flying chest plate. That's basically what it's always been. And for what it's always been, this looks really good. I definitely really dig the little gradient detail in here. I think it looks really cool. I love the fact that the cannon's still attached to her. Just, yeah, it's really cool, really neat, all across the board. Now, a few things that I do like about this that's a massive upgrade from the original is, that it could still do, but, as per usual, the opening cockpit. I do actually really like this feature. It's really nice. Definitely gives a more realistic feel to it. But the other thing is, she's got an ab crunch. Obviously, that's for combined mode, but the fact that it's there at all makes me happy. So, I'm very happy with this. The Triceratops, once again, it's a solid hunk of blue plastic, vaguely shaped like a Triceratops, but in this particular instance, it looks cooler to me entirely because of the fact that this thing is unapologetically a tank, and I love it for that. And, just overall, like, a lot of the paint details on these, and by the way, there's a lot of painted details on these. The painted detail on this really does come through, especially, like, in the eyes. Like, just these Zords look fantastic on their own. So, yeah, with all that said, we're going to go ahead and take him off real quick and get a little bit of a closer look at him. And as you can see, there's a lot of molding and sculpting and detail. If you're really good at panel linings, these are going to look amazing panel lined. Now, he does have the little twisty cannon bit. I can never remember which way they're supposed to face. But, yeah, he does have those. Now, admittedly, it would have been cool. I'm not going to yank on him at all, really, but I wish they would have included the firing horn gimmick, but it is meant to be more of a quote-unquote premium piece, so I'm okay with it. And once again, there is a little cockpit in there. And as you can see, the Triceratops head has loads of movement. And as you can see, I keep collapsing these when I'm not meaning to. Stay out. There we go. Anyway, so, yeah, he has the movement in the head, which makes me happy, and the opening mouth. I love that. I don't think the pterodactyl didn't have this, so yeah, I love the fact that he's got the opening beak. This is absolutely awesome, and I love it. So there you go. There's the Triceratops. So here is the saber-toothed tiger. Personally, my preferred female ranger over the pink ranger. Fight me. So anyways, as you can see, it is the saber-toothed tiger and all of its, well, Zordy glory. Now, this is going to lead into an issue that I have, not just with this, but the Triceratops as well. And it's going to be a case of, you see these wheels? The treads and these wheels, they don't spin or rotate. And that is a huge detriment to this entire set. Those should have been functional. And I'm not going to say it yet, but I will definitely say a lot of these things that I'm pointing out are going to affect its overall grade. Now, of course, we're not going to talk too much. The little tail cannon is right here, painted silver, and just once again, look at all this nice paintwork. It looks really good. As you can see, articulated neck, opening jaw. Her head pops open to reveal the little yellow ranger in there. It would have been nice to see some painted detail on that, but, you know, what can you do? So with that stated, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of articulation in the upper torso, so you can kind of get it in some tiger curl poses, like, you know, like it's naturally stalking its prey or something. And yeah, yeah, that's basically all I got for you guys on that. The Tyrannosaur Zord, the one that I knew for a fact was going to be the make or break for this entire set. And it's safe to say I have my opinions of this, and they're generally pretty positive. Because, let's face it, this thing looks really, really awesome. So getting a closer look at it, as we can see, look at that T-Rex head. This thing looks bad ass in person. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Flip this open and you can see a little Red Ranger in there. So yeah, there you go. And a little ball jointed shoulder at his little T-Rex arm. So he can swipe at you all viciously. That could have been used for a joke for a future video, but I don't know if that video is ever going to come. So yeah, with that said, we're gonna go ahead and simply just, well, show the figure off. And once again, coming back to the fact that this is some seriously nice paint on this. The tail has all the proper silver segments. The tip has the black. And, like, there's a lot of things that this for the sake of the transformation, does as a whole, that I adore. That I absolutely adore. But we're not going to get into that quite yet. So, there we go. There is the T-Rex. And at this point, I think it's safe to say, let's get the dinosaurs ready to stand in a shot together. And there is all 5 all together. And as a set of little dinosaur figures, I think they look really awesome. And I'm going to address this part right now. For you paleontological experts, yes, I am more than well aware. These 2 are not technically dinosaurs. They call them dinosaurs here. In my little kid brain, they count. If you have an issue with that, please leave. That being said, let's go into the transformation into the Dino Tanker. And when it comes to the Dino Tanker, I've kind of been asking myself, how am I going to do this? Am I going to do this the same way I normally do with my Transformers? Am I just going to skip it and just go straight to it? Or am I going to try and do something different? I was never really sure. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and do what I feel is the smart thing to do here. So with that said, let's do this. Gotta love it when you stop caring about rules and regulations so you can do something exactly right. So, with that said, guys, there's the Dino Tanker out of the ZAP version. And I got to say, I think this is one of the dumbest things on the face of the planet. And because of the fact that it's so dumb, it is so cool. Like, y'all, you gotta understand, I have a personal bias towards this. I will always have a personal bias towards this, and because of that personal bias, I will never see this as not dumb. Like, it is dumb. I will fully acknowledge it's dumb. But I can't help but love it. So as you can clearly see, it is full, like, all the connection points are here. A little on the loose side for a few of them, but nothing I'm not gonna fret about, so yeah, it gets the job done. The feature is here. I'm good with that. But we all know that this is kind of the typical midpoint. And, you know, Hasbro are the Transformer people, and this is basically their excuse to basically make a Transformer. So, with that said, I think it's time we get to it. Let's get to Megazord mode. And there it is, the ZAP Megazord in, well, Megazord mode. And it's safe to say, I've said it once before and I'll definitely say it again, this is indeed the Megazord I have always wanted. This thing took #1 on my top 5 figures of the year for a reason. This looks amazing. It has its issues, and I definitely will not dispute that. None of this is perfect. But for what this is supposed to be, I'm floored by it. I love every aspect of this. It looks exactly the way it needs to be. It operates exactly the way it should. But it poses almost exactly the same way a Lightning Collection figure would. I have it on the turntable currently because, well, it's a new thing that I'm trying out. And I'm liking it. So, with that stated, let's go ahead and get into one of my favorite things. That being, size comparison-wise, Classics 2.0 Pro, Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Red, Super Mini Plot Megazord, and the black and gold version of the original 1993 figure. Please excuse the dirty nature of that. It needs a deep cleaning, and it came to us that way. Before we get into articulation, let's go over some features. One feature that I definitely do appreciate with this entire figure, you can actually articulate these forward to actually have the cannons pointing forward. This is entirely just a display option, and I really like it. So, I definitely appreciate this one. If you remember, I pulled these off the back of the Mastodon. The reason why is because they attach back here. And the way they do that is on the Triceratops, there's little notches right in here that these are going to latch onto. And then these, the notches, same way, will actually fit right in here on the Sabretooth. So you literally just... It's usually easier to do this on the Sabretooth. Of course I say that now, and it wants to fight me now. There we go. Now it's on. That one's on. And that one's on. And what that does is it improves his overall stability. The shield, Flash Mastodon head, the sadistic fuck, just fits right into the hand. And now he has the shield, which is awesome. The next feature we're going to talk about is the swap out hand. So you can pop out the fist and pop in. I don't think I've ever actually done this, so work with me on this. I'll be right back. Took some doing, but I got it on there. So now we can do what is honestly one of my favorite things to do. And that being holding the Power Sword in an extremely dynamic way. Got to love it. Now, one more feature to show off on this. The faceplate does indeed come off. Once again, to replicate the whole idea of, the Megazord having the Rangers in the cockpit, there is a little Tampo decal of all 5 Rangers in there. So if you want to display it like this, you can do so. It's a very thoughtful little gimmick feature thing that, once again, not lost on me. I do appreciate it. As you can see, very well painted face. I definitely got off luckier than most when it comes to my set, Because I know for a fact a lot of people had a very, very, very bad Megazord mouth plate. So there we go. And I'm pretty sure I remembered everything this time around. So I think it's safe for me to start heading into the articulation segment. Let's get it. The neck is on a ball joint, so it allows it for a lot of movement. Going all the way around. He's got a ratcheted shoulder joint going all the way around. Love to hear that click. He's got a regular thigh swivel right here. Oh, and also, due to the way it transforms and articulation, it has in and out shoulder movement, but you do have to twiddle the shoulder pad as you go. Now, one thing I do genuinely enjoy about this, stay on there, is when you bring this forward again, it does indeed have the regular bicep swivel, but with a more clickety nature, you have a secondary elbow swivel combined with a singular elbow joint that gets it a 90-degree elbow bend. But if you want that extra curl, you can rotate it like that and you get a double jointed elbow. This is one of those things that I really like about articulated figures, is when they address things because they know for a fact there are people like myself who enjoy articulation. I really like that. So, and another thing that I'm going to point out real quick before we get into the waist joint. This is something that makes so much sense. And I'm amazed Super Mini Plot didn't do it. I'm also amazed Solar Chogokin didn't do this. So yeah, let that one sink in. Eat your heart out, Bandai. Seriously. Doing it from this angle entirely because I wanted to be able to show this off properly. You do get the full waist turn. And other than this thing that is forced to twiddle out of the way, if you really complained about this, I don't know why you bothered. He's got the full waist joint, and thanks to this little flippity flap, your Megazord can crunch forward. We have a Megazord with an ab crunch. Come on! Very clickety hips going out and in. Those scare me. Just as much going forward and back. Oh man, those are scary. Some WD-40 should fix that. Thigh swivel, which, if memory serves me right, these actually are supposed to slide inward more. And now, one of the things that people had a tendency to complain is with these, honestly, if it's really that big of a deal, y'all, there's a flat foot back here for a reason. Just hold it by that, and then bend your knee, and then rip your leg off. But my point still stands. You can still do it. It's not that hard. I'm gonna go fix that real quick. There we go. It's back on. So yeah, as you can see, if you just hold the freaking thing in place, it'll work fine. I don't know, like some of these people, I swear they are way too fucking used to the articulation being buttery smooth. Anyways, we got ankle movement in both Zords, including the heads, to imply further ankle movement. And yeah, that's your Megazord. Get everything in its proper position. And there we go. So under normal circumstances, this is where I would end the video and expect you guys to come back next week. But like I said, this is more of my tribute, so to speak. So, with that said, I think it's about time we get some Dragonzord power in here. And now we begin the review on the ZAP Dragonzord. And as you can see here, it is indeed our very chromy Dragonzord. Now, I have stated before, I am not a fan of Chrome. I never was, and I probably never will be. But in this particular instance, in this particular case, I'm actually okay with it, as shocking as that may seem. Because in this particular regard, the Chrome is not used to deck out the entire figure. It's literally just to accent a few parts. And because of that, I'm totally okay with it. Now, obviously, as you can see, it has the tail, it has the overall look, but how does it work? Before we get into that, we gotta get into the accessories. He comes with the little rod that the staff weapon is supposed to sit on. Comes with a pair of holding hands for the little shaft. Comes with the deployed finger missiles, which honestly looks more like the Dragon Zord got a manicure than anything. Comes with show accurate little Dragon Zord paws. So if you want to replicate the suit, you more than can. Yep. And the one thing that part of me really wished the Megazord came with, the Dragon Zord got his missile effects. I tend to not display things with blast effects. My Dragon Zord has been sitting on my shelf with these, because this is hands down one of the coolest things ever. I love these. Oh so much. Oh so much. So things that the Dragon Zord on its own can do, it has a little cockpit section up here, which when you pop it open, it does indeed have a little Green Ranger in there. Look at the little Green Ranger. Oh, ain't he cute? So, yeah. And that's... I think that's generally it as far as features go for this. And, yeah, I mean... Obviously, if you want, you can swap the hands out for your other hands. I don't think have I used these yet? He's gonna fight me now, apparently. I'm gonna try one more time before I cut away. Come on. There we go. So, as you can see, he has a manicure now. So, yeah. That's only really if you wanted to do a thing with that. So now that we've done that, let's do a real quick articulation test. He's got a... You can break his wrist. You can bend his elbow. Shockingly, he also has an ab joint. I know, I'm shocked too. Hips move forward and back. Knees bend. Ball jointed ankles. And look, the joke is there. Let's just do it. Ball joint here. 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 I'm sorry, Jobby, don't sue. Clearly no Dragon Zord on his own. The mouth does open and close too, but I'm not futzing with it for a reason. So Dragon Zord on his own, he's fine for the most part. I'm gonna go check what the fuck that was. Sorry about that. So yeah, Dragon Zord on its own. When it's its own standalone thing, it's a standalone thing. Okay, I will admit this much. This feels better than the separate Zords on the Megazord. That's for sure. But if we're gonna go into any more with this, we're gonna go ahead and do this, which is of course size comparison wise, Classics 2.0 Prowl, Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Green. Yes, I realize it's the Dino Thunder version, but I don't care. And the Super Mini Plot. So Dragon Zord on his own really just doesn't really bring much to the table, admittedly. He's very much I'm meant to go with another figure, and unless you have that other figure, I'm very boring. As messed up as that may sound. Well, I'm not one of those. I have the other figure he's meant to go with. Let's do it.
Go, Green Ranger!
is a Dragon Zord in fighting mode, battle mode, whatever you want to call it mode. Yeah, this is definitely the cooler looking combined form between everything that we have here. I do overall vastly prefer this form. Now, as far as articulation goes, nothing has really changed. He still has the knee joints, the shoulder joints, all like that really awesome double jointed elbow. That's still in there. I still love it. And overall, like, not a lot of the articulation is really sacrificed here, other than the neck. Now, admittedly, I will say this much. Due to what this has to do, as much as it aggravates me, I'm okay with it overall. Because at least it's retaining what makes these the way they are. Now, obviously, you have the butt of the Dragon Zord. There's no getting around that. You literally just you tore its ass off. You can't help that. And, I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. Overall, this is pretty cool. Now, I will warn. As much as I could show these, I'm not going to for one reason. You see this little slit right in here? Yeah, with how much you have to bend and flex this, that's basically right where the plastic connects. This is going to shatter the more you try to do it. And I've already seen people have straight up torn these apart trying to get this thing to hold it by that. So I say don't even bother with it. Now, of course, real quick, I'm going to experiment with something real quick. This bottom portion does indeed come out. So maybe that's meant to give you an easier time sliding this through? Yeah, no, not really. Honestly, I'm starting to think I broke it even more. Not that I broke it to begin with, but I mean, hey, if you want to try to do it that way, you can try to do it that way. Either way, I don't care for this, so moving on. So to make up for the fact that experimentation went very wrong, you can basically literally hold this thing in your hand like an actual beating stick. I wouldn't actually swing this around the same way I am, because, you know, at any given point I could drop this. And there's a lot of nice shiny chrome on this. And it's going to break. So, oops. So now that I've thoroughly terrified all of you, let's do this. Size comparison wise, Classics Prowl, red and green, Super Mini Pla. Okay, I think we've had enough. Let's get this into the Mega Dragon Zord formation. And we start now. there it is. Mega Dragon Zord. Now, these are two accessories that I did not bother mentioning during the Dragon Zord segment because, well, this is literally the only function that they function with. So, I decided to just use them here, and, well, there you go. And, I mean, it's neat. It's cool. I forgot to flip those in, so, yeah, there we go. Quick and easy edit. Anyway, yeah, this, it's weird. It's weird, and I don't particularly care for it, but the fact that, you know, they clearly refuse to leave the Dragon Zord out of the main Megazord combination, you know, yeah. I'm definitely glad they tried to do something with it, at least. Do I feel it's a success? Not really. It could have been a lot better. I will definitely say that. It could have been a lot better. And another thing that I'm going to mention with this is, as nice as the extra articulation is, unfortunately, that extra articulation, once you have it in this mode, you can barely use it anymore. Now, the lower legs can still articulate like a champ, no issues there. It's the upper torso where all your issues come in, because of the fact that the shoulders, you really can't get any outward movement, and you can bend them forward still, but you really can't use the elbow joint unless you move the shoulder pad. And the moment you start moving the shoulder pad, it starts wanting to pop this out. So, I realize that is just the source material as a whole, but there has to have been something we could have done here. You know, maybe there's just some way they could have improved this, even by a small margin. Am I overly upset over it? No. I don't think it's that big of a deal, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you're not going to display this in this mode. You're not. It looks too ridiculous to do it. Now, of course, if you do want to do it, then by all means, more power to you. So, as a whole, I do think that this is a good, solid combination, because everything locks together. It's just, unfortunately, just due to the nature of this combination, it really does not work for articulation purposes. So, I guess for a quick little size comparison, not to do the whole bit right now, because admittedly it is getting late, we'll go ahead and just do Classics Prowl. He's diminutive. Yeah, it's a big, massive chunk of plastic. But this chunk of plastic, a lot of weight is coming in. I'll need y'all to keep that in mind, because the chunk on this is very much equal to the chunk on this. Now, granted, this one's bigger. Like, just in all of its modes, it's bigger. But this I could throw at a wall, and it would literally just stare back at me like, the fuck? Why'd you do that? This, you so much as drop it, and it will shatter to pieces. That is the difference between those two. And it's not to bog this set down, because overall, I do like these. And I think for a collector-oriented figure set, I think these are great. But these are not without their issues. And as much of a Power Rangers fan as I am, I will not ignore the issues this thing clearly has. Because there's a lot here. I wish this thing was perfect, especially for the price point of both. But unfortunately, this is just the way things are. So, with that said, there's the whole thing. There's really no other extra features to go into. So, let's go ahead and go into the final thoughts. Final thoughts wise, let's get into the negatives. The plastic quality on both of these is not the best. Let's just get that out of the way, straight out the gate. It's not the best, not even remotely close to being the greatest. Just for the price that these things are, I feel like we need way better plastic, way more paint, and overall the features need to have been better thought out. I do not particularly care for a lot of the decisions that were made here. Because, let's face it, a lot of these different decisions definitely worked to the detriment of the overall final product. Is the final product terrible? No. But these are things with these figures that I have to bring up entirely because of the fact that these are things that we should be past by now. And the fact that we still aren't is a problem. For instance, the use of translucent plastics on the Megazord. I don't particularly care for that. As well as the use of translucent plastics on very specific parts of the Dragon Zord. I'm not particularly okay with that either. The lack of articulation in the Mega Dragon Zord mode is a major oversight. For a line that is supposed to be an offshoot of the Lightning Collection, you would think that they would have figured out a way to work in all of the joints for the sake of the articulation. And they didn't. In fact, it feels like they just went right back to the basics for the Mega Dragon Zord combination. And because of that, I feel like this couldn't quite reach the heights I feel it could reach. If that makes any sense. So, overall, this is just how I feel on the negative side. I could nitpick a lot of different things, but let's be real, I'm not going to because I could nitpick anything, and these are things that do not deserve to get nitpicked. These are things that if I'm going to give it any natural final thoughts, I'm going to go straight for the negative points. I'm not going to pull any punches. So, with that said, this is overall my final thoughts for the negatives. Going into the positives. Save yourselves! Save yourselves!
Don't let me get hit by the drill. I'm just concerned about not getting hit by the missiles.
Positives wise, this set, honestly, these are the Zords I've always wanted. They basically do almost everything they did in the show. They move, they fight, they look awesome. They do everything that my nerdy heart needs them to do. And to top it all off, they look absolutely incredible. With how much I was sitting here harping about the translucent plastic use on both of them, they're used smart because they're not full pieces of translucent plastic. They're used as accents. So even if those start to crack and give way over time, it's not going to be that big of a deal at the end of the day. And while, yes, I do definitely wish that there was a lot more paint on these, the amount of paint we did get helps these things pop. I love the mesh, like I stated, I love the mesh design on what I basically call the dinosaur teeth chest plate on the original Megazord. I love the fact that the Mastodon shield still made it into the design. I love the fact that they brought back the chrome sword. I love the fact that all of the Ranger pilot seats were all addressed. I love the fact that the entirety of this set overall does slight little things to subtly improve the figures. It definitely feels like we've come a long way from the bricks of the past. So while I don't currently have my seal sticks with me, this falls on another thing like with my Delta Base review. I'm going to give the unbiased rating for both, and I'm going to give the biased rating for both. So, the Megazord on its own, I will be ranking that low platinum. The Dragon Zord, I will be ranking that mid platinum. Like just flat out platinum. But in my nerdy heart, I think you guys already know what I'm about to say. Flat out, it's a BC seal. If there is even the slightest bit of you that wants these things in your life, you deserve them. If these are the Megazords that your mind's eye always saw, you deserve these. Is the plastic quality going to throw you off for the price? Yes. But as somebody who has been a Power Rangers fan since day one, where I was more a Power Rangers fan than I was a Star Wars fan not Star Wars, Transformers fan when I was growing up. So, with everything that's been said, I feel like I've taken up enough of your time. I'm just going to say it again. Fan-fucking-tastic figures. I love these. And I will not apologize for how much I love these. These are everything I ever wanted these Megazords to be. And I'm so stoked for what else they got coming down the line. So with all that said, guys, I think I've finally taken up enough of your time. It's been close to an hour at this point. I think you all get the point. This is BC saying stay nerdy, get your geek on. I'll talk to you guys next time.
This was more phenomenally painful. You just had to hit us with the fucking reference, didn't you?
I'm in so much pain. So much pain. Do any of you feel like we went off to outer space?
You son of...